Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm John Hartman. I'm at the University of California, Santa Barbara. I'm going to present the first randomized control trial for a relatively new group called ENI. If you're interested, you can go to eni.org. It's eene.org. This is an organization that has met for each of the last 3 springs. Um, we've worked on a number of projects. There are a number of different ways that you can be involved. There is an annual meeting after the American Economic Association C-Tree meeting. You can be involved in helping to collect data. As you can see here, on your left, we have our lead team, but we have dozens of authors here, a lot of which have helped to contribute the data necessary for us to be able to analyze the important question of how does a team contract affect um, people's feelings about working in groups. So again, ENI is the Economic Education Network for Experiments. We are trying to set up a number of randomized controlled experiments. What this does is it overcomes small sample size. We've all probably seen, excuse me, we've all probably seen a number of talks where we only see one class from one professor in one institution. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to broaden this. We're trying to make it generalizable. We're asking, can we expand this so that we can try to answer it for a discipline in general? So we know that teamwork is often one of the most important skills that people have to use once they get out in those real world jobs. But we also know that within teams, there's a lot of free riding that goes on. And so you often have dysfunctional teams where some people do a lot more work than others. Um, and because of this, there have been calls for experimental research to try to isolate these specific effects of working in groups. We want to see if we can contribute to the literature because other work that's been done, there's often been small sample size. There's often been a lack of, I mean, there really has been a lack of effective control groups. And so this is what we're trying to overcome with this particular project. And so our main research question is, does the implementation of a team contract in a group, does this affect, does this influence the outcomes as measured by students' attitudes towards their teamwork, things like team dynamics, their sense of community in the classroom, individual teamwork skills. And so what we've done is we have this 9-step implementation within our experimental design. We have faculty recruitment followed by student recruitment. We have surveys, excuse me, we have surveys at the beginning and the end of the term. We also have a mid-term check-in with the faculty member just to make sure that we are collecting all the data that we need for implementation of this project. And so what are some of the key aspects? So we can't just have any class that's involved in this project. We need classes that have a significant amount of group work that's involved. So there has to be at least 2 deliverables, at least 3 weeks apart. Students have to stay together in the same group. It has to be for at least 3 weeks. Many of the groups that they were longer than that. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of how a faculty member did grading. The group work could be in class, it could be outside of class, it could be some combination of the two. To try to increase the power, we also had stratification in a 2x2 setup. So the first is by grade weight. We had students that were grouped into less than or equal to 15% of their course grade. We had a second with more than 15%. And then we also separated with section sizes that were either less than 40 or more than or equal to 40. Randomization, this was done at the course instructor level. So if the same course with the same instructor had multiple sections in the same term, they would be both placed in the same either control or treatment group. We had scripts provided to all of the instructors so that we had consistency. But the main difference here, excuse me, within the treatment groups, um, Students worked on a team contract. This was provided to them in each class. They were encouraged to complete that in class also. The control group was not nothing. The control group was that they did a team introduction assignment where they worked in the respective groups to know each other. So this is really trying to tease out the effect of the team contract itself. So we had 26 courses over the last year. Some of them finished just this month, so we only have 20 of the courses with available data. We had 9 in the control group, 11 in the treatment group, 15 different instructors, over 700 students so far. Again, we'll have more in the coming weeks. Although the vast majority of classes were from the United States, we did have an international pool from Spain, Australia, Pakistan. If we look through the numbers for student characteristics, we did see some significant differences for some of the characteristics, things like age, the percentage of freshmen, the percentage of underrepresented minorities. But for instructor and course characteristics, we did not see any significant differences between control and treatment on the 5% level. What are our outcome variables? So we had 4 different sets of student indices that were created, from attitudes towards group work, behavior in group and team dynamics, student sense of belonging in the classroom, and only in the post survey, we had 5 questions on team dynamics. So the first 3 groups here, we were asking them before and after, we're looking at the difference. And to be clear with the last set, because it's only asked in the post survey, we're only looking at the numbers at the end of the term. These questions were converted to a 0 to 3 4-point Likert scale. 0 strongly disagree, 3 strongly agree. So in order to make this work, we had to have some of the questions being reverse coded. So the higher values correspond to improved group work attitudes. So keep that in mind as we look through the numbers. And we only include students that attempted both the pre and the post survey. So here are the summary statistics, the difference between the pre and the post, between the first 3 categories. And again, the last one, it's a larger number because we're only looking at the absolute number on the team dynamics score. We can see that there are some differences, especially for the first and the second categories. The first, the third, and the fourth categories, not the second. My apologies. But we don't see that there's anything significantly different here. Part of this is because we had our initial power test that we were aiming for at least 1,000 observations. Note here that we only have 700, so that may be part of the reason why we have these insignificant results.
2 minutes, Sean.
Thank you. So we had a simple OLS model, pre versus post. We have our treatment being whether you are in the treatment group where you have team contracts. We have stratafix effects. In one of the 2 models, we also included student characteristics. And for the 4th model, again, because we only have this post, we're looking at the absolute score. So let's dive in quickly into some of the results. Model 1 is the simple OLS results. Model 2, we have standardization to the standard normal with mean 0, standard deviation 1. Again, just like what we saw with the raw differences, we do see some of these models having a positive effect, but they're not significant. We see that here with outcome 1. We see it with the second model. This is pretty much a 0. With outcome 3, again, positive results, not significant. And then finally, same thing with outcome 4. We can see that the treatment has a positive effect. It's not statistically significant. But again, we only have about 700 observations. We're going to get some more results in the coming weeks. We'll see what develops there with the additional data. So again, part of this is due to the fact that that we have less than 1,000 that we were including within our initial power calculation. We will see that additional data coming up. I do also want to recognize that some of my co-authors are here. Thank you for supporting me today. So I think at least I saw Doug, Chelsea, Fulia, Sarah. So you may hear from them in some of the chat as we move along today. Thank you very much. This is our core team of 5. This is our group that we came together 2 years ago. We came up with this idea. We had a lot of wonderful feedback to help us get this out into the implementation stage, and I look forward to your feedback. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. Can I ask you to stop sharing the screen? And there was, first of all, a question for me. Can you ask about like the pedagogical principles about, the team contract a little bit?
Yeah, so this is just a solicitation of a team contract in the sense that students were asked things like that some of the things they could consider is that how much work could be contributed by each person to various aspects of the project. It was flexible enough so that it would work with different types of projects that could be implemented. So some groups may focus on let's say if they're doing a project, we don't explicitly tell them that, but someone could be focused on coming up with PowerPoint slides if that's part of the project. And in other cases, it may be more of a paper that gets turned in. So it's flexible enough so that they'll be able to come up with what they think is important to talk about, to think about, to be able to apply the idea of the contract to whatever type of project they're implementing.
Now, Claude asks, how did you find combining data from across your different countries and contexts?
It's a lot of work, but I must say that the vast majority of people that I've worked with have been very cooperative. They work very hard to get their IRB approvals done in a timely manner. Um, Most of them respond very quickly. So I must say that I have a wonderful group of people that I work with.
I think you should write a paper on the production process of that in of itself.
Can I jump in on that one, Ramin?
Yeah.
Since I'm actually an author on this paper as well, the and I did a lot of the kind of the managing of the nuts and bolts of the data collection. John's totally right that everyone was super cooperative, and the IRBs were all pretty different in different countries. Um, but another issue we had was comparable demographics, and this wasn't so bad for some things like gender. But as soon as we got to things like race, ethnicity, and even like parental education, even GPAs are on a completely different scales in different countries. It was pretty difficult, and in fact, we did our best. And you'll note that we probably don't have as many demographic controls in the paper as we would have liked because of this. Uh, but it inspired a separate paper that Malta Ring is going to present this afternoon or later today about how to collect demographic information in a way that is actually comparable across a lot more contexts that'll allow us to both control better for demographic characteristics in these models, but also look at to see how effects might differ across different groups of the innovation. So maybe team contracts work a lot better for students that are in minority race ethnicity groups, for example. And we can't do this unless we have comparable measures. So I'll leave it there. Think of that as an ad for the later paper.
Question from Barbara. Did you track team collapses in a sense that the team would go to a lecture and to get help from them?
So we're not able to directly do this, but I mean, this is part of the reason why we're having both the pre and the post survey is that if a team forms and then collapses, we're hopefully capturing that in their attitudes at the end of the term.
You have a question from Mandy. Were any of your group interaction questions related to there being a contract in place and still having a free rider problem?
Um, I don't have the specific questions in front of me, but I believe that there were some questions about free writing within some of the questions. And
I can
if
help
if
with
it
that one,
yeah,
John.
go ahead, Chelsea. I know you've dealt with that much more than I have, so go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, we did. So we asked questions based on Lencioni's five dysfunctions of a team, which included what we call free riding. But yes, they have slightly different terms for things. They don't use the econ terms, but we can did ask about a lot of the functionality of the team. But those questions obviously were only in the post survey, not in the pre-survey, because you can't know what your team is going to do yet.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you all. Thank you, John, and the co-authors here. And let's go to our third.